Hi, I am Dr. Sevukan, Faculty of Library and Information Science from Pondicherry University. We are here to discuss about how to catalog the proceedings of conferences, seminars and symposia. As you all know that we have varieties of documents in the library. When you look at these proceedings, it is a very useful document for the researchers particularly because many things come out of these conferences, because the papers that are received and presented in these events are up to date, that would be from the emerging areas. So, the people who intend to do research will always be looking for or searching for the topics. So, for identifying the research problem, this can be the right tool for them to know about the recent trends that are taking place or the changes that have taken place in their respective field. So, this as a library, this becomes an important document for us. And when it comes to the technical point of view, cataloging is also another difficult task for us, like we had for this edited books, how it has to be catalogued in the previous part. And as I ended with the first part, how we have to catalog the books edited by one or more editors, how it has to be catalogued. In the same way, when we have proceedings here also, it is almost same in nature of the document. Contributors are more and there will be some editors to compile that, receive, compile, edit and publish it with a new title for the conferences or the seminars and symposia. And you would always find the latest terminologies which have been established and widely accepted would be the theme of the conference. So, this how we have to catalog is the topic of the discussion in the second part of this presentation. So, coming to the proceedings of conferences, seminars, workshops, symposia etc. are very common. Still, many conferences are held annually or at different intervals. We cannot find a week now, because those days it was extremely difficult and we could see rarely the conferences held at different places. But now, due to the advent of ICT and people who have been involved in writing papers and conducting research, there is a lot of scope for presenting papers for the people who are in the present era. So, these conferences are seen almost every week in every corner, they keep on doing that. So, but those that is also growing exponentially as far as the volumes which are generated or produced based on the conferences. The papers presented in these conferences, their deliberations and the recommendations are published in the form of proceedings. And as I mentioned before, many of these proceedings contain research findings and constantly in demand in academic and special libraries. They require special treatment, and ASA 2 second 2 revised edition provides guidelines to catalog such documents in the form of proceedings of conferences, seminars, workshops and symposia. So, coming to the cataloging rules which have been prescribed for cataloging these documents emerged, or which is the outcome of the conferences, seminars and symposia. The indications of the number, frequency or years to be omitted at the beginning of the name of the conference. So, while writing the title of that, simply for example, All India Library Conference. So, that is the title, but if it is 25th All India 15th All India Library Conference, so we cannot mention the number in that. So, here it should not be written like 15th All India Library Conference. The number, year and place of the conference to be given as a terms of addition in parenthesis after the name of the conference. Simply for example, All India Labour Conference, within bracket, circular bracket, we have to mention the number of the conference 26th, then colon, year of the conference, colon, space, then place of conference it is Delhi. So, here it is very clear that it is 26th conference, 26th All India Labour Conference held in Delhi in the year 1980. So, that has to be divided into parts and that has to be written in this way. This is the rule that has to be followed for writing the name of the conference in the main entry. So, let us come to the example of the conference. So, on the top what you are seeing is it is the name of the conference, then where it was held, year of conference, then proceedings of the conference, then compiled by whom, then publication details and the other information, call number, accession number, date, number of volumes of this conference proceeding and the size of the proceeding. So, with all these particulars we have to prepare the main entry based on ASCR 2R. And as I have been telling you that in the previous part also we had seen, while preparing the main entry or added entries, we have to always keep in mind the 8 areas of main entry according to ASCR 2 revised edition. So, now let us see how we have to prepare main entry for this particular title of the proceeding of conference. So, here coming to this main entry, as usual we have to write the call number on the top from the left, extreme left, leaving one space. First class number, then book number we have to write. Then the theme of the conference we have to mention lunar and planetary science. Then we have to science conference, name of the conference. Then within bracket, as we have mentioned that syntax we can say 9th colon 1978 colon the place of conference Houston. So, it is in the circular bracket, again it is underlined, that also you have to do that. So, then title section, this is called a leading section where we write the heading of the main entry. So, then starts title and the statement of responsibility, proceedings of the 9th Luna, that is the conference proceeding held during what time, which time, then year of conference, compiled by whom, that institution has to be given, because here there is no person involved in that. Here one institute is taking the collective responsibility, they are compiling the papers received for this particular conference. So, here the press which is publishing this document is Oxford Pergamon Press 1978. And coming to this physical description area, there are chances of having more than one volume. In this case we have 3 volumes. In the physical description area we have to mention about the volume, 3 volume, 3V, number, then small letter V dot, then semicolon, size of the document 26 centimeters. So, since this one card is not sufficient for recording all the bibliographic particulars for this conference proceeding, we are continuing in the next card. For that we have to always use the phrase continued on next card in the first card. Then when we start in the next card we have to start with continued 1. So, then tracing section is done. Here based on the conference theme we have to extract some subject headings from Sears list of subject headings. Now, here we have got one subject heading like moon, congresses, conferences, etc. And the Roman letter 1 is lunar and planetary, it is for the institute. Then title also will have one added entry. Here in total there are 3. For all those 3 we have to prepare the added entries. So, it is very simple, that like name of the conference in the heading we have to simply remember that while writing main entry, entry should be the name of the conference within bracket, the number of conference, year of conference, then place where the conference is held. So, rest is same as we have done for other types. So, here coming to the added subject entry, I have been telling that the subject heading, when we write on the top of this above the heading, we have to write always in capital letters, and rest will be the same as in the main entry, and access number has to be avoided in writing these added entries. Similarly, for the compiler added entry, the person who has compiled that, that is the title which is given to him. But here it is not the person, it is the institution, it is a corporate body, Lunar and Planetary Institute. It is located in Houston, Texas. So, for that we have to prepare an entry, and this is part of the main entry that you could see under tracing section in the second part. So, for compiler we have prepared one entry, rest is same as in the main entry. Similarly, for the title, conference title is different from the title of the proceedings. So, here the title we have to mention proceedings of the 9th Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, then rest will be as in the main entry excluding access number in that. So, it is very clear that from this it is a simple title with proceedings and the name of the conference, where it was held, with the number, everything we got. So, and it is only the important thing that we have to remember is that it has got 3 volumes. So, 3 volumes have to be recorded, it is a new from the previous sessions what we learnt. In the physical description area we have to start with the number of volumes 3 V dot. Then as it is we have to record about the pages and size of the document. So, this is the first example, and coming to the example 2, symposium, this is also of the same nature. The deliberations will be held in the part of conference. Many people will come and they will share their views. So, and many resolutions also would be passed in the conference as part of it. So, those things have to be published as proceedings of the symposium, and when symposium comes to the library it looks like this, and we have to catalog that. So, here it is just like that conference proceeding only with a small difference that it has got only one volume, it is not multi-volumed. So, now let us see how it has to be catalogued. The main entry, the call number is written as usual in the left side of left corner, leaving one space, class number and book number, and a symposium on tropical monsoons. So, here you find no number for the symposium, it is only the year and the place, both have been recorded. Since there is no number mentioned, we do not have to worry about that, we have to simply record the details whatever we have on the title page. Then proceedings of the symposium on tropical monsoons, as usually it is started. Then the statement of responsibility in this case is Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, this is again institute. Pune is the place of publication, the publisher is the institute itself. So, here we have mentioned institute, and the year of publication is 1976. Coming to this physical description area, it does not have volume as I said before. So, this has got the preliminary pages and textual pages, then size of the document is 26 centimeters. So, here you can see there is a small difference from the earlier title, that we had only one subject heading in the case of the conference proceeding that we discussed as example 1, but here there are 2. Because depends upon the theme, I have already told you, we may have more than 2 also at times. Here there are 2 entries, one is climate, the other one is rain and rainfall. For these 2 we have to prepare added entries. Similarly, for the institute as an author or compiler, we have to prepare an added entry and title. So, in total we have to prepare 1, 2, 3 and 4 added entries which are mentioned in the tracing section. So, coming to this added entry subject. So, subject heading will always be in the capital letters, as you can see on the top of this card above the leading section. This rain and rainfall, that is what I mentioned. There are 2 different terminologies or headings that we have got from CRC list of subject headings for this particular theme. So, 2 different cards we have to prepare for both the headings which have been mentioned in the main entry. Then for institution as a compiler, we have to do that. So, here Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, then rest of the entries, rest of the details would be the same as you see in the main entry. Only difference is that you will not have, you will not find the access number in this particular added entry. Similarly, for the title we have to do, it is call number is written, proceedings of the symposium on tropical monsoons, and also here the name of the symposium we have to mention, then year and followed by the place with punctuation colon. So, rest will be same as in the main entry. So, here only the difference from the earlier title that we could see is that there was no number seen for the symposium, and also we could not find the details of multi volumes in that, and same as the previous title we had institute as a compiler for this. So, we have prepared titles and also the subject headings for in the case of the present title what we are discussing, there are two, because it depends upon the theme as I said before. For this theme we have extracted two different subject headings from Sears list of subject headings. So, this is what all about the second title on symposium. First we discussed about conference, the second one is on symposium. So, example 3 on seminar volume, how it has to be done. So, this is the third seminar on a particular subject, and editors are 2, and where it is held, then publisher details, year of publication, and other information, call number, access number, pages size, and one small thing is that note has been given. It is conducted by the Center of Advanced Study in Linguistics, Annamalai University, in November 1921, during November 19 to 21, 1971. So, this is additional information which has been given, and that would be considered as a note. The rest of the details we have to simply identify and record accordingly. So, coming to the main entry, here you can see the seminar, name of the seminar, but here again we have got number, it is third seminar. In which year? 1971, and place is Annamalai Nagar, it is a part of Tamil Nadu. Then title and statement of responsibility we have to mention here as usual for any other kind of titles, and conducted by whom, that center has been mentioned, and again edited by, conducted by and edited by, there are two things, conducted by an institute and edited by two different people from the same institute. So, here we have to give credit to both the institution and the people who are involved in that. Then place, publisher, year of publication. Then when it comes to this physical description, they have mentioned simply V, volume, 415 pages, and the size is 23 centimeters. So, this card is not sufficient, we are continuing with the second card. When we continue, then there is this only tracing section has to be done. Here you can see we have extracted only one title, one subject heading from Sears list, that is languages - Dravidian - congresses, conferences, etc. So, for one heading we have to prepare an added entry. Similarly, for Annamalai University as an institute, as this sponsor or the organizer we have to do, and there are two different editors of that particular volume. For them also we have to prepare two different cards and title. So, here in total we have to prepare 5 different added entries. So, 5 different added entries, how we prepare we can see now. So, the first one, languages - Dravidian - congresses, conferences, etc. So, since I have been telling you, I hope you would be very confident that you know how to write the subject heading on the top of the card, it has to be in capital letters. So, rest of the things will remain the same, the rest of the fields would have to be recorded in the same way as we have recorded in the main entry. When it comes to sponsor, Annamalai University Center of Advanced Study in Linguistics. So, this is a center which has sponsored. So, for sponsored we cannot give them the credit. The reason here for giving credit to both institution and the two people who were involved in editing the seminar volume, we have to give credit to both, but this institution cannot be considered as a compiler or the editor. The reason is they have only sponsored. For sponsoring we cannot give credit, we can only give acknowledgement. So, here this Annamalai University, the particular center of advanced study in linguistics has been given due importance. For that we prepare added entry in the name of sponsor. The rest will remain the same excluding accession number. Then for editors, there are two people involved in that. So, here Agastya Lingam, it is editor. There we have not mentioned the tracing section, but when we prepare added entry, there after their name we have to mention their role, what they have done. So, here their role is editing the volume. So, here we have to mention according to ASCR 2R, it should be in the abbreviated form ED dot and it has to be underlined. So, this is the add entry for the editor 1. So, and there is a joint editor also Shanmugam SV, he is also another editor. For him we have to mention the same way what we have done, only the order will change. He is the first one and Shanmugam is second. For both editors we have mentioned. So, the added entry for the title, as we have mentioned, we have to say that title also will have that. So, here the title is third seminar on Dravidian linguistics and a seminar on Dravidian linguistics. So, here you have, when you say the title of the conference, the number will appear when we prepare for that, but when you are writing this heading in the card as in the leading section, so that would be third seminar, that number would not be part of this heading. We have to start with only seminar on Dravidian linguistics. So, within bracket, circular bracket, third colon year of event, then colon place of event held. So, it has to be in the circular bracket, again the information, the three components, three elements have to be underlined. So, this is how we have to prepare entry for the title. So, coming to the example 3, this is again perspectives to cytology and genetics, edited by so and so. It is also proceedings of the 5th All India Congress of Cytology and Genetics. So, this is again the same as conference proceeding we have done, but on the name there is a difference in name, it is Congress, that how to catalog we have to see. So, here All India Congress of Cytology, and this is the name of the conference we are starting with, and it is 5th conference held in the year 1984 at Bhubaneswar. So, this is how these three are the elements which have to be specified after the title of the conference within circular bracket, and the elements have to be underlined. So, rest is same, and here the tracing section we have two subject headings. We have here, one is cells, congresses, conferences, etc. The second one is genetics congresses. So, here the thing is, it is all related terms, cells and genetics. For that we have to have separate added entries and also provide cross reference for that. So, then Roman letter 1 is for the editors, second is for the second editor, third one is for the title. So, here we have to make 5 more 5 added entries as you can see in the tracing section. So, coming to the added entry, first it is for the subject, one is cells, congresses, conferences, etc. And again rest of the details or the bibliography details what we have recorded in the main entry would continue as same, provided you have to end with rest as in the main entry within circular bracket. So, this you will not find access number in this particular card. In the same way, for the second subject heading also we have to prepare added entry in the same way as you see, but here only thing genetics, congresses, conferences, etc. So, this is how we have to prepare for subject added entries. When it comes to added entry for the editors, there were 2 editors as we could see in the case of that seminar conducted by Annamalai University in the previous title. Added entry for editors, first editor we have to clearly mention that the role of his contribution, he played the role as editor. So, we have to mention in the abbreviated form ED dot, it has to be underlined. Similarly, for the second editor Sinha, we have to do like that, comma ED underlined, Right. So, this handy entry title perspectives in cytology and genetics, this is the title entry that we have to make. Again, as I mentioned, the cytology and cells, we had two different subject headings. One is cytology, the other one is cells, but actually the this one when we recorded the theme of the congress, it was on genetics, but here we see two different terms. The people may be confused with cytology and cells because it is both are related terms. A person who comes with a term cytology to the library, he will see the card here only, but when he looks at cells, he may not find. So, this when he looks at cytology, that particular card cross reference entry will lead that person or the user who is approaching this card cytology to the cells. Though accordingly, we have to go to the area cells where we find the card in the dictionary catalog. So, this is called a C reference entry. When we have two different similar terms, and the people may get confused with that which term has to be considered for searching a document. In that case, we have to provide a solution as catalogers in the library, we have to do that. So, this is what all about the whole part of presentation that we had initially in the first part, how to catalog the edited books by one or more authors, and in the second part we discussed about how to catalog the proceedings of the conferences, seminars and symposia with illustrative examples with minor differences. 4 examples we have discussed in the case of proceedings, conference, seminar, symposium and congress. These 4 are the things and how we have to do, but uniformly we could make out that this tight heading cannot be the title. So, only name of the conference we have to mention when there is a number prefixed to the conference, and that has to be considered, that has to be treated in a different way by recording the this entry element in the leading section heading as name of the conference within bracket number of the conference followed by the this place of year of conference and place of conference held. So, these 3 are the unique things that we have to learn, otherwise it is almost common to the documents what we have catalogued in the libraries in the case of printed books and other materials. So, with this I hope you have benefited from this presentation, and also I am confident that you can catalog the conference volume, since you are also may be one of the delegates who go around. Being a library professional, you should be able to know how to catalog such documents when you find in the library, and you have to meticulously follow the rules that have been discussed so far for cataloging the books by edited books by one or more authors, and also the cataloging of proceedings of conferences, seminars, symposium and congress. With this I thank you all, and you can conclude.